This is the Moti Mahal, built in 1916. Till recently, one flag carrying Hanuman's image flew proudly here. But a month ago, it was swapped with this flag, the traditional pacharanga flag. That's when the trouble started. Former Prince Anirudh Singh says it is his palace, his choice of flag. But many in the Jat community saw it as disrespect, sparking protests right outside these gates. And then, late one night, 3 men barged in, tore through the back gate, and hoisted back the Hanuman flag. Far from being punished, they were garlanded by locals. Meanwhile, Anirudh Singh's estranged father, ex-minister Vishwendra Singh, has backed the Hanuman flag inside the palace. But both he and the administration say the only flag that should fly over the palace is India's tricolour. So for now, heavy police guard the gates as a fight over flags becomes a father versus son royal showdown. Listen in the exclusive interview of Anirudh Singh.
Well, there has been a flag controversy in Bharatpur over the 2 royal flags that the Bharatpur royal family would fly from the palace, the Moti Mahal Palace. And on this debate, joining me is Anirudh Singh. He's the former Yuvraj of the royal family of Bharatpur. Anirudh, thank you so much for speaking exclusively to NDTV.
Thank you.
Just to get back to what exactly happened, there was a lot of face-off between the community. There are 2 flags that the royal family you would fly, one a peacetime flag, one a flag that was flown in the time of war. And then we also said the administration is watchful, it's watching what's happening in Bharatpur, but they gave you some advice. So really, what is the controversy about the flag, the pacharanga, that you decided to fly from the pole of the Moti Mahal Palace?
Right, Harshaji. First of all, thank you for having me on your show. As we are online and we are not exactly time bound, I'd like to take one step back to explain what the dispute in the family has been happening. Once that context is done in 30 seconds or a minute, then I will come and explain the flag controversy, which will essentially make more sense to you. Now, what happened was 4.5 years ago, in our family, we had a massive dispute. The dispute had my mother and me on one side and my father on one side. The reason for that dispute was, without giving too many details, was that he's been in a habit of selling off ancestral property and then squandering off the revenue or the funds that come from it. He was doing so with a very prominent ancestral property of ours, so my mother and I opposed it. It became rather ugly, as everybody knows about it. I don't want to go into details. And then a very senior lady from our community or our fraternity decided to have a meeting and try to sort out the dispute. The attempt failed not once but twice. My father then decides that he doesn't want to be sharing the same roof with my mother and I. So we stay put in our ancestral home. He decides to change his house, which is no problem. That's his wish. Subsequently, there was silence. He contested an election. We could have gone all sorts with it. We didn't. We kept quiet. We were abroad most part of the election. We then came back. We were hounded by the media, by the public, etc., by the political opponents and things. We kept zipped. The election passed and there was some more peace after that. Suddenly, we received a notice that he had sent my mother and I claiming maintenance from us, and he had filed the case in the SDM court. It was the actual petition, it was not the notice. So without a legal notice, we were quite stumped that suddenly a case has been filed in the SDM court. I went to the lawyers and they said, well, at this stage, we have to just stand up and defend it. There is no time for negotiation or sending out legal communication, etc. So we stood up and defended ourselves and we won in the SDM court. Subsequently, the case went into the collector's court. Now, SDM court also saw him creating some sort of hooliganism, etc., but the SDM curtailed it very well. Then we landed up, after we won it in the SDM court, he appealed in the district magistrate's court, where we won again, because he was seeking maintenance from my mother. Anyhow, after that, even though we won, I sent out a written legal communication via my lawyers saying, please, let's have a meeting at a time, venue, place that is mutually acceptable to discuss the way forward, even though we were the winners. He replied and flatly refused and said he's going and then we got a notice that he's going to take the case to the High Court, where it is now, so I'm not allowed to comment on it. And we started discussing things in the High Court. Despite the matter being in High Court, we having won twice over, against the advice of my legal team, I sent out legal written communication saying, again, let's have a mutual time, place, and venue to discuss the partition of our ancestral estate. He again replied back in a communication saying, not interested, not wanting to do it. So we now have no other chance but to fight in the court, and that's what's happening at the moment. So this is the context of the problem. Now, moving on to the flag dispute, Bharatpur state, like several other royal states, have multiple flags. There is the war flag, there is the peace flag, and then there are multiple motifs and colors used for ceremonial purposes. For many years, the Bharatpur Moti Mahal Palace, for whatever odd reason which we don't know yet now, had the war flag on. Several years ago, when we used to live all of us together under one roof, it was collectively decided that the war flag, being Ashobh and various other things in times of peace, should be replaced with the traditional pacharanga of Bharatpur. The explanation of the colors has already been given out on social media. This flag has been put for several years before even the dispute started. I have put photographs of this flag on number of occasions when it was put on half-mast when senior people from our fraternity passed away, whether it was Maharaval Sahab Jaisalmer, Maharao Sahab Kota, and Maharaj Sahab Samthar, and several other such occasions. Now, he feels, my father, that a personal dispute can be settled in the same ways as he would take on a political dispute and do a protest. Now, if he's gone into the High Court, we must respect the bench and let the bench take its time.
So are you, Anirudh, just to interrupt you here, are you then saying that this whole flag dispute where people rushed into first there was a dispute about which flag,
Right.
and then after that some people rushed in from the back gate of the palace and tried to hoist another flag at the guard room? Do you somewhere believe it's connected to your father? Do you
No,
think he
Harshaji, I will answer all your questions. You've just gone one step ahead. Now, so what happened was I shared a photograph of the palace on Twitter normally about a month ago. He decides to then suddenly wake up and create a controversy around it to mount pressure on me and my mother by saying that we are going to have a protest of this sort and this flag has to be replaced, etc. I mean, he was trying, and of course he's behind it because now that the incident has happened and the criminal who committed that incident is sitting in a panchayat and giving out a speech, he is calling that person on his mobile and the whole media has seen it, you all have seen, and putting out a statement in his support. Even before that, I have evidence which I will take to the required people, that he, the courts and the collectors of the world, that he himself was behind this, sponsoring it metaphorically, literally, financially, in every which way. So that is completely clear. So he decides to do a protest. And I wrote again, I sought legal advice. As always, we are very law-abiding here in this part of the world. I then I sent an email or a posted letter, to the Divisional Commissioner of Bharatpur, saying that please let me know what security measures you will be providing. She then directed the administration below her to provide adequate security, which the office's actual answer to my letter is with me, which I will file. So security was provided. There was nothing. The administration was very cooperative. I then receive a telephone call from the SP. I actually called him up one morning, I think on the 18th or 19th, whenever I put out the tricolor tweet. And I said, SP Saab, what's happening here? He says, Anirudhji, you are within your legal remits to put a flag which is not anti-national or supporting of any separatist or any other kind of movement. Absolutely fine. But when this mob mentality, including hooliganism and the panchayat, has come through, logic takes a back seat, and I am afraid that even though we may have security measures in place, the historic palace may get damaged. So I said, SP Saab, we need to find a way. These two educated people are talking. He said, okay. I said, then I'm proposing that I put a tricolor up and you dissolve the other side and you handle it. He said, okay, I will go to talk to my IG. I said, okay, I will go and talk to my mother. 15 minutes later, both parties agreed. A tweet came out. The flag was replaced in 20 minutes and kaput. It all got done.
So you replaced the flag with the tricolor?
I replaced the flag with the tricolor because obviously I'm not going to put something there, although I'm within my legal remits, to get a historical structure damaged. And we saw that could have happened. So that happened.
So were there objections to the tricolor?
Well, if you are of course there were objections on the tricolor. The SP, I told the SP Saab, I said, SP Saab, I have done what you asked me to do. I spoke to the IG and I said, you provided, on the 21st, again we spoke. I said, they're putting out tweets saying that the flag is not accepted, blah, blah, blah. And he said to me, leave it with my cyber cell and me. It is my duty to sort of deal with this. Adequate security has been provided to the palace. The 21st was perhaps the most peaceful day all over Bharatpur for a very long time. There was free-flowing traffic, the police was around the palace, there were checkpoints, everything was fine.
And then what happened that night?
That night, and see, this is what I'm saying, Hukam, this is very, ma'am, this is a very, backdoor, sheepish kind of a act to do. That night, obviously the police put its guard down and they all came inside and surrounded the main palace, and the guard was there because they said anybody who's going to come and attack will now come and attack the palace. The palace has a 100-acre compound, and the last exit, which was the olden times entrance for the various unofficial guests, I would say, was Sadar Gate, which is about 500 meters away from the main palace. Somebody came in, noticing that the police had put their guard down, brought in their vehicle, live telecasted this on social media, rammed in, broke the gate, and claims to have put the flag on Moti Mahal Palace. Absolute garbage. He tried a failed attempt to put the whatever flag of Bharatpur that he wanted to put in a abandoned guard post that is on that gate. So he should also not be trying to take any merit out of this.
So what exactly do you want now? Because those people who put that flag on the guard room have now been welcomed by community panchayats. They've been garlanded, they've been feted, and there is no action. I believe you have filed a complaint against them also.
I have filed an FIR against them. The administration has assured me, and they have been very, very supportive in this entire incident. They have asked me to, for one moment, to take a back seat and let them do their work. I will not sit there and dictate terms to the SP or the collector or the IG. They are all experienced people, and I cannot take the same route of hooliganism, protesting, sloganeering, etc. that they have taken. And this was brought on to the table, and I said, SP Saab, I could take this many ways because my mother has been in public life. I have been in semi sort of public life. We could also call our people and have a protest and have an impasse on this. And he said, is that what we expect from you? And it was said in such a way that it made me reflect that no, we are built for more civilized things. I will take legal action, I will take police action, but I will not come down on the street. That is not what we are made for here.
Anirudh Singh, what do you have to say against your detractors who are saying that you have hurt Jat community pride? You hurt the pride of the community by removing the flag.
See, ma'am, all of this sentiment has been somewhere propagated by my father. At one point, I'm taking you back again to 2002 to a podcast that was being sort of conducted on a historical context, where I said that we ourselves have originated from the Jadhav Rajputs of Karoli, and therefore we should not have this two community thing, and we should be the actual bridge. One community was very welcoming about it. The other one decided to spin it around and take it all over. I mean, you can't stop me from saying where my family has come from. And then to say they're doing a bhishkar of me from this community, let them do. Who wants to go and get married to them any which way? I mean, what kind of bhishkar are they planning to do? I mean, they can do. And that community is fragmented with multiple of these Mahasabhas giving out different notices and supports, and the other side calling me and saying, well, they've given this, could we support you? I said, I'm not getting into this game of whatever else you all want to do. I have stated facts. And that's about it. There's nothing more to say about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the landscape of Rajasthan, where identity politics is important, I think it is an issue which is a topic of discussion. But you've had your say on that. But one more thing that I want to ask you, Anirudh Singh, is why is it important to fly a flag in a palace? I mean, what is the historical significance of it, that there was such a to-do about it?
So two things I'm going to answer you. First, you said that it's very, it's in Rajasthan politics, there's this whole cultural thing. Well, if I wanted to be inactive in politics, I could have played the polarization card, gone completely the other way, joined in with this drama and become a hero. I'm not wanting to do that because it has repercussions. I have made perhaps the biggest mistake of my life installing a statue of Maharaja Surajmalji in Nadbai. What was it? People have been ungrateful. I've had legal consequences about it. It is absolutely no sense to do anything, and I'm not going to do it. And yes, listen, ma'am, corporations that have started 10 years ago or 15 years ago have their identity and this thing, some sort of a logo or a branding or a flag. So why can't we? Even Oberoi Hotels has one, various corporate houses have one, Hyundai has a flag, everyone has a flag. So why can't we have a flag? And our families have been around for like, generations, and they've created that branding. So why can't we use it? We are not saying it's above the tricolor. We are not saying that we are separate from India. We are very much part of India. We are very much supportive of the tricolor. And as you've seen, former royal families across the country have their flags. Why shouldn't we?
Well, this is one flag that created a lot of controversy in Bharatpur. Anirudh, thank you so much for speaking to me on NDTV.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.